Okay, so this absolutely wild thing happened a year ago. And for the life of me, I still can't believe how it all played out. It's one of those moments where, if you heard it without context, you'd think I was some kind of criminal mastermind or something. And honestly, it almost ruined my life. But here goes. So, I live in this small, kind of rundown apartment complex in a pretty shitty neighborhood where literally everyone has some kind of drama going on. I'm a 27-year-old graphic designer trying to get by, nothing crazy, but here's where things took a nosedive. My downstairs neighbor, let's call him Carl, has been a nightmare for years. Dude's a known meth dealer, total junkie, who screams arguments into the night and once almost set his own place on fire, trying to cook his own product. It's a whole thing. One night, I'm hearing screaming and crashing below me, so I decide to call the cops because it sounds like someone's getting beat up or worse. Before the cops arrive, I sneak down to the parking lot to see what's going on, and I spot Carl dragging a woman, his girlfriend, into his van. She looks terrified, like she's begging him or something, and I freak out. I try to snap a picture with my phone, but he spots me. That's when he jumps over and grabs my phone, shoves me against my car, and says, "You better be careful who you're messing with, man." Obviously, I call the cops again, and they get there before he can do anything more. The woman ends up being taken away in an ambulance that night because she had bruises and was bleeding. Everyone expects Carl to be arrested, right? Wrong. Next day, shit starts hitting the fan. Carl comes up to my apartment door and slams his fist through the glass window. The landlord tells me to keep it quiet, or you're both out. The cops come back and question me, and this is where the nightmare starts. Apparently, my phone was found with videos. Carl's girlfriend, let's call her Maya, had, during the whole struggle below, hit record. But from Mansfield PD's perspective, it looked like I was breaking into a vehicle down there, possibly with ill intent. Also, the video was sideways, so the angle was weird, and Maya kept shouting things like, "No, you can't do this. Stop. You're scaring me," but it sounded like I was threatening her or something. The cops grilled me for hours, and Carl spun this whole story about me stalking him, trying to steal his stash, and threatening his girlfriend. Despite me explaining everything, the city prosecutor almost charged me with attempted burglary and harassment. I was fighting to keep my job because there were some public news reports about it. My employer was ready to fire me just based on the headlines. Meanwhile, Maya suddenly disappeared. No calls, no messages. For months. Not a word. I found out through a friend that she and Carl got back together after she got out of the hospital, and she was apparently into this whole chaotic lifestyle. Then one night, the entire apartment complex went up in flames. Not a coincidence arson was suspected. And guess whose car was seen speeding away? Carl's. I decided I had enough. I started sneaking around, gathering proof for the cops. I found a neighbor who recorded Carl dealing drugs late at night, and I managed to covertly record Carl bragging about using Maya as a chump and how he'd gotten a new batch ready after the fire. I took everything and went straight to the DA anonymously because I was terrified for my safety. Here's the kicker a week later. The FBI showed up at Carl's door and arrested him for drug distribution, arson, and assault, with a whole racketeering case they'd been quietly building for months. Maya testified against him finally, and it turns out the whole me breaking into his van thing was just the spinning of a desperate junkie trying to save face. As for me, the charges were dropped. My employer apologized and gave me a big bonus for handling dramatic situations with professionalism, and I moved to a new apartment across town. Carl's in federal prison now, and last I heard Maya checked into rehab. So, yeah, if you heard the initial story guy breaking into a van in a drug den, being accused of threats, you'd think it was something super sketchy, but not what it sounds like at all. I basically ended up playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse just trying to save someone else's life, and somehow came out the other side on top. Never mess with meth heads, and always have a lawyer on speed dial just in case.